Hey there. I know it feels like it's been a minute. I just hit 2 weeks post-op yesterday. Very excited about it. The last week, I didn't lose as much weight as I thought I would have, but I'm having a really hard time getting in enough water and protein. So on an average day, I'm getting in about 20 ounces of water, and that's working really hard at it. And counting any of the protein shakes or anything else that I'm drinking as a liquid or water. And then as far as my protein goes, I'm getting in about 30 grams of protein a day, which isn't a ton. But we'll talk more on that in a little bit. But I'm feeling great. So I started on my surgery day at 233 and change pounds. And then on my 1 week appointment checkup, I was 224.3. And then yesterday when I weighed in for my official 2 weeks, it was 221.8, which puts me at a BMI of 38.1, which is down almost 2 well, just a little bit more than 2 BMI points for my heaviest, which is awesome. So I'm feeling really good. I've lost about 19 pounds so far, including pre-op diet. I lost 7 pounds on my pre-op. So I'm feeling awesome. I'm still really glad that I did this surgery. The progress, like I said last week, was slow, but I'm trying to really concentrate on getting enough water in. That's definitely going to be key to flush everything out. And to get rid of a lot of the fat that is coming out of my cells. In order to get rid of it, you have to flush it out, right? It's got to go somewhere. So just really concentrating on water, mostly for dehydration purposes. I do not want to go to the hospital for dehydration. So really trying to focus on the water. I did, for the first time yesterday, add some protein powder to my water because I wasn't getting enough protein in. And that helped. I got in 53 grams of protein in yesterday because of the 30 grams of protein I added to my water. So that helped a lot. I'm going to go ahead and continue to do that. Every other day I do add Miralax to my water to help get things through smoothly, especially since I'm taking an iron supplement. I tend to be one of those people that gets backed up if I don't drink a bunch of water, especially if I'm having an iron supplement. Even though I didn't lose a lot of weight last week, I did take photos. So here are my side-by-sides. You can see on 6/27, I was 4 days post-op. So I weighed approximately, 230 in that photo. I weighed myself right before I left the hospital on 6/26, and that's what I was. So at 1 week post-op, I am 224. And you can see that there is quite a difference between the two. Now, at 4 days post-op, I probably still have a lot of the liquids from the IV and a lot of the gas still in me, so keep that in mind. And then going from 6:30, 1 week post-op, to 7/7, which is 1 day shy of 2 weeks post-op, you can see that there's a huge difference. Even though I only lost just over 2 pounds between those two photos, there's a big difference in my stomach, a little bit in my butt. I can't really tell in my arms, but I can tell a little bit in my jawline. So anyways, there's a huge difference. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you, if you're not already, to take photos. You don't have to share them with anybody. Just take the photos and take the measurements. And then that way you know that you're making progress even if you don't see it on the scale. So it was a big difference, right? So from a couple days post-op to 2 weeks post-op on my body image. So even though I didn't see it on the scale, I totally saw it in the photos. So that's one of the reasons why it's super important to take photos and your measurements. You know, I would take a photo in the same position weekly at first and then go monthly. You'll really see the transition a lot more than you will on the scale, especially if you hit what they call a stall. You don't lose for a couple of weeks. You'll really see that your body shape is changing. Now, I wouldn't say that I've changed sizes at all, because when I went in for surgery, I was pushing the limit of the size that I was in, and I was in like a 16, 18. And so I would expect that for at least another 10 pounds, I'll probably be in this size. Only because, like I said, I was pushing the limits. I didn't want to buy new clothes that close to surgery. So I'll probably be this size for another at least 10 pounds. But I did want to share some of the things that have helped me be successful these last couple of weeks. As you know, I bought that protein powder. I showed you it a couple of videos ago. I ended up putting it in a container because it wasn't resealable. And then I took the label and just taped it on the container, so I had the nutrition facts here. This protein powder is really great. I really like it. The only problem is it's hard to mix in liquids or my soup or whatever. It gets clumpy, so I have to put it in my magic bullet blender, which isn't necessarily a huge issue. It's just an extra step. So I'm going to continue to use this for things like that, protein shakes, those kinds of things that I'm going to use the blender for. But I bit the bullet and bought the expensive stuff. I went with the GenPro protein powder. It was this one, and I think it's Isopure that everybody really recommends that you go for. Mostly because of the digestibility of the protein and the fact that it blends really well with your food. So I did some food prep yesterday because I just transitioned to my puree food stage. And in my food prep, in each one of my dishes, I added some of this protein powder, and it mixed in wonderfully. It was awesome. It's 30 grams of protein per 7.2 grams of serving size. So I'll show you what the serving size looks like. It's a smaller scoop than other ones that I've seen. So the scoop is pretty tiny. I'll just pull up the scoop. So see, compared to my hand, it's pretty tiny. Little scoop, 30 grams of protein. And so this is what I've added to my water yesterday. And it made a really big difference. Now it is expensive. You get 30 servings in here for $39. So it's really, on the high side, whereas on this one, it's 16 servings for like $6. So using both of them, this one I'll use, to add to thick recipes that I don't necessarily want to put in the blender, and I'll use this one for stuff that I want to put in the blender. So anyways, you learn as you go. The GenPro, I'm hoping it will be really awesome. When I did my food prep, I made 3 dishes yesterday. I did some egg salad. So I just did eggs, a little bit of olive oil mayo, and then like just some flavoring for taste. And then I made the ricotta bake. I did mess up a little bit on the ricotta bake when I made it. You're supposed to put the tomato sauce on top. I was a little scared to use tomato sauce because of my tomato soup incident. But I didn't read the recipe all the way through, and I just put the tomato sauce inside of it. And the tomato sauce I thought I had marinara sauce, but I only had vodka sauce. And so vodka sauce is like a creamy tomato. It tastes awesome, but it's probably adding a little bit more calories and a little bit more fat. And then the third thing, my mom made me some faux potatoes. So not PHO, but FAUX potatoes. It's mashed cauliflower that people use in place of like a mashed potato. And so anyways, that is a head of cauliflower, about 2 tablespoons of mayo, 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and then like salt to taste. And it's delicious. And then you use an immersion mixer to get it super smooth. And I added, because there were so much of it, it was 28 ounces. I added 2 scoops of the GenPro and gave it 60 grams of protein. Even though it didn't have much protein, it really will hit the spot. So, which brings me to these little cups. I bought 250 of them at a local restaurant supply store that we have nearby, and they're 2-ounce cups. I've seen people buy the 1.5 ounce cups, which is great. I know that a lot of people who had gastric bypass did the 1.5 ounces. I found that the 2 ounces is perfect for one meal for me. So guys, if you're pre-op, literally this is one meal. It's crazy. I never thought about it. Being an entire meal pre-op, I looked at it and thought people were crazy, but seriously, this is all you can eat. Especially when you get to puree, you'll eat very slowly. It takes me about half hour to 45 minutes to eat this. It's insane. So hence why I don't get a ton of food in. It fills me up to the top. I try to stop before I get uncomfortable, but generally I get uncomfortable after I stop. So I actually should eat slower. I should like take an hour to eat this, honestly. And then no drinking 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after, because it flushes the stuff through your stomach too quickly, and then you don't get the nutrients from your meal. So transitioning to soft food is what I'm doing right now. So those are a couple of the tools that I'm using. I also went and bought a whole bunch of flavors of this seasoning company that I've heard of. It's called Flavor God. They did not pay me to promote them. None of these people have paid me to promote them. These are just products that I like. But the Flavor God has a bunch of flavors. I paid for I think it's a 16 pack, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 pack. And so they've got like Chipotle, hot wing sauce. I'll just show you some of the ones I thought were interesting. Everything spicy, chocolate donut. That'll be interesting. It smells really good. You've got buttery cinnamon roll. That one's gonna be fun. There's lemon and garlic, Fiesta sweet and tangy, buffalo seasoning, pizza. You guys, pizza. That might be good on some cottage cheese. I'm thinking I might try that later today. Taco Tuesday. You don't have to miss out on Taco Tuesday anymore. Anyways, tons of flavors. I got 15 of them. They always have sales, so wait for their sale. It took a couple weeks to get them to me. I ordered it before my surgery, but I think they're a little overwhelmed right now with people becoming chefs in their own kitchens right now, because everybody's home or has been home. I think you can see over my shoulder, I did invest in some Torani syrups. I got cherry, strawberry, raspberry, butterscotch, and lemon. And they're all sugar-free. So adding those to different drinks. Of course, I can't have carbonated drinks. So adding them to water, or even adding them to some recipes, protein shakes, those kinds of things. I'm really looking forward to adding the lemon to like a vanilla protein shake, or the butterscotch to a vanilla protein shake. I think that'll be really tasty. Another tool that has been amazing for me is this scale. So I got it at like a discount store or something. I don't know. They had a bunch of them. So get yourself an electronic scale. They're really nice. What I love about it is I will set my container on there, tear it so that it's zeroed out, and then I weigh out how much liquid I'm gonna have or how much food I'm gonna have. That way I can accurately put it into my bariatric app on my phone to track my food. It's super important to track what you're eating, otherwise you'll never know. If I wasn't tracking my food, I'd have zero clue that I'm only getting 300 to 400 calories in a day, which I know, especially if you're pre-op, that doesn't sound like a ton, but I am not hungry at all, believe it or not. And so it is actually a full-time job to get in the liquid and the food. And I highly suggest, if you are able to, take a couple weeks off after surgery, not necessarily because you will need it physically, because you'll need it in order to concentrate on getting your food in. I know a lot of people, even if you have a desk job and you're sitting at your desk, you forget to eat. I used to do that all the time. I'd have my lunch there, and 3 or 4 hours later, I would look over and think, oh crap, I haven't even eaten my lunch yet. So just getting in the water and the protein is a full-time job. You are constantly sipping. So I highly suggest taking a couple weeks if you can. All right, what else? Bariatric cookbook. I really like this one. So the reason why I like this particular cookbook is the first 78 pages is all about kitchen gadgets and menus and what to eat pre-op and post-op and why you're choosing to do this diet and why each phase is important, all of those things. So that was really nice. It's kind of like my food Bible right now. I've tried a few of the smoothie recipes in the phase 1, and I didn't like them, but I think it's the ingredients I'm using more so than what the recipe is. So I've got like my plain yogurt, and I ended up getting the Fairlife milk, which is I think it's 14 grams of protein per serving. And it has half the amount of sugar as regular milk. So I'm not sure what the combination is, but the berry smoothie ended up being really good. But I'm really looking forward to just the different foods that are in here that they have that looks really good, like Asian peanut cabbage slaw, roasted garden vegetables, you know, they've pumpkin spice muffins. They've got so many great things in here. So I'm really looking forward to moving on to that stage. Another tool I got, and haven't used these yet, but Toddler Plates. So these are going to be really useful when I get to the solid food stage. So right now, it doesn't make sense to take my 2 ounces and put it in my toddler plate and get a whole plate dirty. So I either eat it right out of here, or if I need to heat it up, I use a little, kind of like a little bowl, kind of like the ones that you might put prep ingredients in if you're gonna make something, just little glass bowls. I'll put it in there because you can't really microwave with this. It just melts. So put it in a bowl before you microwave. But the plates will come in handy. I also got toddler spoons. Now, toddler spoons are really great because they help me take the right sized bites that my stomach will allow. So the larger spoons, sometimes I would take a regular bite on accident, not even thinking. And then there was just a lot of pain just underneath my esophagus. And it almost, and I wouldn't even say it's pain. It's discomfort. It's not pain, it's discomfort. And it just feels like a rock is just sitting there and like backing everything up. So it's just uncomfortable. So definitely recommend toddler spoons. It really does help. Another thing that I did is I asked for an abdominal binder when I was in the hospital. It looks like this. It's Velcro. It goes around your stomach. Now at 2 weeks post-op, I could still be using it. I use it every once in a while. But I used it every day, almost religiously, my first week and a half. Sometimes I would sleep in it, but what it does is it just holds everything in and makes it so it doesn't really swish or sway or move around. And it's a lot more comfortable, at least it was for me, to use the abdominal binder. Now, I don't know if they were going to give it to me in the hospital. I specifically asked for it when I was in the hospital. So I don't know if that's something they were going to give me anyways or not. Who knows? But you can either buy one before you go to the hospital or ask for one when you're in there. They had no problem. As soon as I asked for it, they went and got it for me and helped me put it on, and it was great. I haven't seen the bill for it yet. I don't know if I have to pay for it. I don't know if insurance pays for it. I really don't know. So anyways, that's me right now. I'm running errands. I have a 13-year-old at home who's bored to death because of this stupid COVID stuff. So, and we have a vacation coming up next week. So we've been running to different stores, and I'm doing grocery shopping. My daughter is picking up everything, putting it in the cart, putting it on the belt to check out, and then carrying all the groceries in. So she's been a great help. So I'm trying not to lift anything over 10 pounds, which is what was suggested by my surgeon. I have a friend who did lift excessively at about 2 weeks, and she tore something on the inside and had to go to ICU. It was really unfortunate. And she, you start feeling good and you don't really realize that you still need to be careful and not lift those things. So right now I feel awesome. I'm a little tender. But other than that, I feel great. And I feel like I could lift things. I feel like I could bend and twist and move normally, but I need to constantly remind myself that I cannot. So anyways, that's me right now. I will update you at 3 weeks. If not before, if I come up with something else that's that I've seen or that I'm doing that is different. I can tell you that yesterday we went to a sidewalk sale and I was looking at clothes that were way too small for me, but I was dreaming because I know that I will be there eventually, and it's really exciting. I didn't buy anything because I don't want to kind of jinx it, I guess, but I'm really excited to get to that stage. So anyways, if you like to follow my journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in a week.